The day I recorded this, I had basically just woken up, as you can see from my flat afro hair in the back. There's no fluff in there at all. The fluff is not fluffing. Also, I was experiencing these allergies and a very intense form of them. I'm not sure what I'm allergic to, or if it was just the weather or what it was, but I definitely had some kind of allergies, or I would say allergies this day, because I could not stop sneezing for the life of me. And you can probably see me making some faces of me trying not to sneeze. But yeah, that was just that day, I guess. Even if I was slightly sick or allergic or whatever it was that day, I still showed up to draw because I had things to do, and I did it as far as I could. You should never push yourself to go further than you need to, and you should never push yourself further than what your health allows you to, because your health is always and should be always your priority. But it is a perfect transition to today's topic, which is consistency and showing up even when you don't really feel like it, when it's not what you would like to do at that moment, when it doesn't feel like the best day, when the motivation might not be there. I think one of the ways you might stop yourself from being consistent is to look at too big of a goal. You end up feeling overwhelmed, and also if you put too much pressure on yourself of being too much of a perfectionist. Sometimes you give yourself goals where you don't actually have the skill set to fulfill them. It is a form of perfectionism, but also a form of procrastination. Or it's important to not overcomplicate things to the point where it becomes difficult to show up for yourself. Giving yourself unrealistic expectations and then getting disappointed when you can't reach those expectations can be self-destructing. It's natural to show up and want to create the best you can, but you don't always have time for that. And many times the act of just showing up, doing the work, is worth a lot more than waiting for the perfect moment. To a certain point, this perfectionism becomes a form of procrastination, because you're in some way refusing to take a step further in fear that what you're doing might not be up to the standards. In these cases, it's important to show up regardless, to be consistent. And consistency helps build trust within yourself, because you repeatedly show up for yourself. You help to mold your own self-perception. It gives you a sense of confidence in yourself and the things you can provide for the world. It also gives you the confidence and trust to start a new project or reach a bit higher, because you know that you have done it before, so it's possible to do it again. Or maybe you haven't done it before, but just knowing that you will show up every day or whatever times that are necessary for you to reach your goal is enough for you to confidently continue. Even if you feel down, unmotivated, or uninspired, it gives you true trust in yourself and your abilities. Small wins count. Small wins give you enough motivation to keep going. When you give yourself only large goals that take ages to accomplish, it's easier to get unmotivated or give up. I read once that professionals stick to the schedule and amateurs let life get in the way. Basically meaning that the best way to achieve anything is to show up every day, or as many times as necessary. I listened to the audiobook Atomic Habits, which explained a lot of different practical techniques that could be used to create better habits. Because in the end, it's the compound habits that you make that really create the long-term change. Consistency and habits are basically the same thing, or at least they're super interconnected. You can't really be consistent without having a good set of habits. The compound habits turn into consistency. So making sure you reprogram your habits so that they can better benefit you and your current goal. There was a period I had a habit tracker, which turned into be a quite eye-opening tool. Because sometimes you might think you're pretty consistent, but then when you actually see your habits visually, you become more aware of their reality, not just your perception of reality. Something you thought you did every day might actually only be something you do once a week. So it gives you the visual proof of what is actually happening. And that way it's easier to build habits because you're tracking it. You know exactly how much or for how long you're doing things. And that way you can change your actions accordingly. A good example on this on YouTube is Matthew Ovella. He has a series of videos showing his process of learning new habits every month. I'm pretty sure he did this for a year at least, and at times still do it. He would try out things like cold showers, meditating, working out, and so much more. And he shows the humane journey of learning new habits and how it's not always that easy to build habits. And there are not all habits that stick. Or you might not want all habits to stick either. But at least trying it is a great way for you to find out what works for yourself. Another aspect of habits that maybe doesn't come up as much when talking about consistency and habits is the fact of believing in yourself, which again turns around to the topic of trust that I was talking about earlier, that you create trust by the consistency you make. But sometimes you might have these limiting beliefs of what is actually possible, and that might stop you from even trying, from even taking the first step. And if so, if you find yourself distracting yourself instead of doing things that you know would make you happier, if you constantly don't do the things that you want to do, then I think it's important to look within and understand why you don't believe in yourself, why you don't think you can do what you want to do. Because if you come to the bottom of that, and if you start to believe in yourself and believe that these habits can create bigger changes, then you will take action. As you might have noticed, I have been drawing for this whole video, but I haven't actually explained to you what I'm drawing. This is one of many illustrations that I'm creating for my coloring book. I will link the other related videos for the coloring book up in the corner of this video if you want to check it out. The coloring book is inspired by women from all over the world, and I'm highlighting the different ways they express themselves through their clothing, makeup, or jewelry. In this video, I'm illustrating the Tuareg people, which are native to North African region. The Tuareg is a large Berber ethnic group that primarily inhabits the Sahara. From the southwestern Libya to the southern Algeria, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and also some parts of the northern Nigeria. Their combined population exceeds 2.5 million people. Because of the very diverse and vast population, it was hard to decide what characteristics I would draw for this illustration. But after looking at a lot of reference photos, I ended up with this. I wouldn't say it represents the whole Tuareg ethnic group as it's so diverse, but it shows some characteristics of some parts of it. If you enjoyed this video or it brought you any type of value, feel free to like and subscribe. I will see you next time.